South, and the team that came first, Direwolves, had 0 losses. The team that came second, Elevate, had 2 losses. And Chiefs, who are playing right now, they came 3rd place and still made it to the major. If they manage 3rd place this time, well, they won't have the luxury of redeeming themselves in playoffs. It starts here on Playday number 1. The first match of APAC South is about to kick off, and it is Theme Park. Matt, we have certainly not seen very much of, and well, that is about to change.
Not a favourite here in APAC South, but we did see it a few times in our own league in the OCS Championship. It's been played plenty of times, and innovation is definitely starting to brew here in this league, especially with the introduction of Sens and Azami. I mean, I can't wait to see what architecture they can do to this map.
Yeah, and like Guz and the other guys had said, haven't seen a whole lot of bans for Azami or Sens as of yet, so super keen to see where that comes out. That's an unusual one. A Zephyr ban from the Chiefs, and that does, of course, leave Sens in play.
Sens making it through, but we don't really know what to expect with the projector screen just yet. Kai to follow with that thatch ban does make a lot of sense on Theme Park. Some of those walls can be pretty tricky to get open with Kai on the board. I'm thinking the armory wall that goes into the bomb site, so you can get the plant down on pillar. That's often something tricky to go past, and so is Mirror, very potent on those top floor sides.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see Chiefs coming out with some more unusual bans. Like you say, yeah, there's a clear reason why you would want to ban the Kaid. But having not really seen Theme Park ever from Chiefs, I'm wondering, is this a game that they're going to go all out on? This is a map that they have, for the lack of a better word, been hiding for the entire time it has been in the pool. And like Guz said, Chiefs can't afford to drop any games to teams like Gladiators, who are formidable, but not anywhere near the top of the standings, at least as of Stage 1 results. So this is a real high-stakes game for the Chiefs, but one that they can't let get into their heads. And in contrast, Gladiators, every single match that they take here, they're going to be looking for that opportunity to break through, to start taking advantage of the fact that these top-tier teams in APAC South are really feeling that pressure thanks to the change to the format.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Guz's sentiment was absolutely correct about this. The Chiefs, they can't drop this game. Absolutely not, if they want to make it into that top 2 contention. Meanwhile, Gladiators, they have a lot to prove for us here on Theme Park, and it all starts here in Armory and in Throne Room. Looking for an extended roam here out on the top floor. A few Rios being dedicated, a few rotates being made, and so Chiefs, that's their first line of defense that they'll have to face.
Love seeing the Azami get a little bit of play as well from Hoven here. I wonder what specifically is the intention. Just look at how ambitious this roam game is from Gladiators. Really taking control of essentially the entire top of the map. We've got these Kiba barriers, which can be deployed just about anywhere, almost like deployable shields, which have also been deployed here to hold on to the top of Dragon. Chiefs are going to have to sequentially deal with this.
The Chiefs now looking to make their clear through the map. Starting off here inside the cash room, like you said, Shields is going to be their first point of contention here as Digital starts opening the door, getting his drones in the building, and there we go. The first Follow-Res drone does go in, not connecting, and so that shield will stay up for a little bit longer.
So the Kiba barrier there, drone comes through, spots out Hoven's position. Digital now relaying that information to his team, and Ethan from the Rappel on bathroom window can take down the roaming Wamai. All those discs now set. And the Gladiators will not be able to make use of them. A Flores Rotero drone also dismantling the poor position that Hoven is trying to hold on to. He is not long for this world.
Hoven really struggling here now in this position under a lot of pressure, and his teammate with the Wamai discs now off the board as well. The Azami barriers do come up in some form of defense though. That means they'll have to knock through it before they get the utility through, and the Chiefs, it feels like they're stagnating here a little bit, spending some time trying to make this double push work. They don't want to walk in one by one, and instead Hoven manages to get away, but Boydie is able to find a cutoff on the ground floor to find a second pick for the Chiefs.
May well be that Slow and Steady wins the race for the Chiefs. This is one of the best opening kill teams, not only in APAC South, but I'm going to say in the world. At the at the Charlotte Major, 2 of the top 5 opening kill players at the entire event were on Chiefs. That's Ethan and Bouncer. Ethan's already found the opening kill. Boydie's followed up with the second for Chiefs, and now Gladiators are feeling that pressure. They need these 2 roamers to have an impact.
They absolutely need some value out of this roam, and that is why we can see Hoven, he's still hanging around in the middle part of this top floor here. He does not want to give up this space because he knows that this is critical for Boydie to eventually get control here and start working vertical to site. So being down numbers, now's your time to make the hero play and try look for some picks. The Maverick Torch also being smoked out will delay much more time here for the Chiefs. That wall will be staying closed for at least another 15 seconds.
15 seconds is half of the rest of the round. Now Hoven found the first pick. Bouncin goes down. On for a flank now. Chiefs have to watch it, but they also have to pay attention to entering this incredibly difficult site. Now Ethan takes down Hoven, and the Chiefs have a 4 versus 2 as they start to execute. 10 seconds to go. Rix has to go large, finds a double! And it's out of nowhere, a round for Gladiators, unless Worthy can clutch, but he does not have it. What a round, the 2 versus 4, and Gladiators keep their composure.
Gladiator is able to find the jump on the entry there. The Chiefs, it felt like they were very stagnant. They didn't know what push they wanted to go for. Because they didn't fully commit to clearing Hoven out of that top floor, it meant they had no vertical access at all. All that soft floor is there in waiting room and inside office. And so if they wanted to get it, they had to clear out Hoven. Hoven eventually getting the jump with the flank as well, turning their attention away, and a very patient smoke on the site meant that the Gladiators were able to take that round away. And that was just so well played and perfect patience from them.
And it goes to show that while Chiefs might be so strong in the opening kill department, they really need to be able to execute these 4v2s. Credit to Gladiators, they played that so well, and the Chiefs just did not have a response for that execute onto the hard anchor positions. And I guess that's what happened when you spend most of your round roam clearing and waiting and finding those early picks. It means that Chiefs don't have time to get a proper breach on any of the main walls. I mean, Kaida's banned here. It shouldn't be too difficult to start breaching some of these external walls, exposing those anchor positions, and prevent Chiefs from needing to walk into the meat grinder like they did on that round. And that was exactly what enabled Gladiators to take advantage.
The Gladiators are now taking us up to a top floor site. Very typical secondary site here on Theme Park. Now also starting this extended roam, looking for that same power position on the top of the Dragon Stairs. The Chiefs, like you said, we will have to see them improve through the mid-round. If they put all their eggs in the basket of the early round, there's going to be no time for them to convert. And so, once again, we see the Chiefs starting off here on this Kashka. They're going to have to be a little bit quicker if they want to get anything done.
But of course, one immovable object and unstoppable force that they have in their arsenal is Digital on the Monsi. Now, of course, Digital usually does a lot of the droning, but he is essentially a walking and talking drone now as that Monsane, and that should hopefully speed up Chiefs' push. However, Ethan's taken a bit of damage on the rappel where he found the opening kill last round. That may put a slight thorn in Chiefs' side.
Ethan now being pre-fired off of his cutoff now that Gladiators know exactly what the push that the Chiefs are going to achieve. Digital now starting to make his way into Cash as well, but not followed up by anyone as we can see through the outlines just yet. Just being very cautious once again. Worthy now making his entry into the building, followed by a flashbang, and that's Chiefs safely in the building. They actually do have a drone on this flank as well, so Hoven, he's going to have to be very careful, and I think that's Ethan chasing for the kill.
Oh, Ethan should have it, and there is a reason why this is one of the best opening kill players in the world. I mean, right when I say that, he struggles to shoot the down player, but there you go, Ethan, once again, another opening pick.
The Chiefs now once again making progress through this early round. The rotations are now being reared by the Gladiators. One of their friends has gone down. That's okay. We'll just hunker back, play the patience game. That's what won us the game. The last round is what the Gladiators are thinking now. But meanwhile, Joe and one of his teammates starting to make a pinch here on Ethan, and he does find the jump onto him. So now evened up man count on this round.
A great refrag there. Gladiators starting to read into that Chiefs playstyle, knowing that Ethan is always somewhere looking for a cutoff, looking for a lurk, backstabbing the defense. Now the Chiefs will have to see how they go breaching this main wall onto the site. Secondary hard breach, can opener from Digital. Mute jam as of now. He's going to try and put a second one above. A nade over from Boydie. I thought that was meant to find the mute jammer, but it turns out it found a player, so that's what you call bang for your buck.
And once again, we're in this precarious position of 30 seconds left. The execute has to come out for the Chiefs, aided by the diffuser on Digital.
But Ape, though, he's mad. He managed to find a play. He's actually flanked all the way into Vault. And it's on Bouncin to try and land this gunfight. Ape deals a little bit of damage, but takes a heck of a lot in return. Told you on the bomb site has done plenty. And it may just be enough now. The Chiefs bouncing on 1 HP. Digital with the diffuser. There's no shot that they are able to plant. Digital will try, but in the 1v1, it's an easy cleanup for Joe, and that is the second 1v1 in a row for Gladiators.
Once again, the Chiefs stagnating a little bit through that mid-round, not watching all the flanks, diverting some of that attention to try and finding the picks below. The Gladiators, I want to give credit to them. That was some excellent teamwork, trying to retake that ground floor from them. They were able to find the pick onto Ethan. That stagnated all of their flank watch, and all of a sudden the Chiefs, they had divided attention, trying to get that wall open and trying to look for that execute. So the Gladiators, they're playing this perfectly paced defense that the Chiefs aren't able to keep up with.
At what point do we start to light the fires and signal a warning for any Chiefs fans out there? I know that Theme Park is a very defender-sided map, but the Kaid has been banned, you know, the Mirror has been banned. There should be tools that the attack have to deal with these defenses. And for the Chiefs to find the advantage so early on, 2 rounds in a row, and yet have that round slip through their fingers, I've got to say, it's starting to mark a cause for concern for me.
Well, I think the Chiefs, they still have a few rounds left here on this attacking half. The Gladiators, they've only gone 2 up. If the Chiefs can find maybe 1 or 2 more attacking rounds, try and crack the puzzle, I wouldn't be too upset for them here. Each round, the Chiefs, they've tried to change their approach. Digital has now hopped off the Monty, realizing, okay, that didn't really expedite our process anymore. Let's just go back to having more hard breach so we can have a larger entry point into the bomb site. We don't have to spend ages working the wall with the Maverick, that type of thing. So the Chiefs always adapting and changing, even though they haven't quite gotten rounds on the board yet. I like that they're trying to problem solve here in this prep phase.
No Azami since that first round, and still no Sens either. Bit disappointing, I got to admit. You know, I want to see the nuance. I want to see them make their way in, but at the end of the day, you got to pick the best tools for the job, and I think Chiefs have done a pretty good job of that. You look at the amount of explosives that they have. Worthy now on the entry, with the Flores being one of them.
Well, I think the tough part about trying to fit something like Sens into a lineup is that you have to sacrifice something else in order to fit some of those projector screens into a lineup, right? And here on Theme Park, having that utility to open the walls, the grenades, because lots of those walls and the anti-hard breach isn't that accessible from below or anything like that, means that it's very difficult to fit Sens into a lineup. So the Chiefs, they just keep switching around the comfortable operators and the utility that they know how to play with. Meanwhile, the Chiefs actually are starting to make their roam clear into the building here. Quite an early entry as well, 1 minute and 40 left, and the bomb site is much closer to them this time.
Yeah, usually on this initiation office bomb site, the defenders don't let the attackers get this top dragon control easily. So that is a huge advantage that the Chiefs have. And of course it is Ethan coming from a backstab, but in fact Digital finds the opening kill. Once again, another one for the Chiefs. That's 3 for 3, and yet they are yet to find a round win.
Now it is about converting for the Chiefs. Here we go, the line of sight has been made onto office, and so we'll have to see the Chiefs. Do you want to go for an office execute? Do you want to change and go for initiation? Now is the time that we need to see the drones going in and decisions being made from the Chiefs.
I wonder, is Ethan going to be able to go for this lurk while there's still so much pressure on No Boydie? That's a bit unfortunate. Drops down the hatch while he's trying to take a gunfight. Look at this though from Digital. Plenty of avenues onto this bomb site, and Gladiators are really spaced out here. The Chiefs just have to commit.
The Chiefs now starting to get this wall open into office. It would indicate this is their point of entry. Boydie now shaping up his way into bathroom. We'll try and find the pick onto the one in initiation, but 30 seconds left and time is dwindling down for the Chiefs.
Could it once again be a capitulation for the Chiefs? And now a 2 versus 4 as the Gladiators retaliate quite easily. And Digital now has to find 3 kills for the clutch. It would be a 1 versus 4, and it's certainly not going to happen. Ricks to close it out. And the most convincing round yet from the Gladiators as they go 3-0 in the lead.
The Gladiators just have so much patience. I love the way that they're playing the pacing of this round. They go one man down, but they go, that's okay. The Chiefs, they're not good at pushing into these power positions. Once they've run out of utility in the early rounds, making that entry, they don't know what to do. So that's the strength, and that's the time of the round that we're going to put our utility and we're going to put our energy into. And every single round so far, it has worked. The Chiefs stagnating, not making a decision early enough, and then having to enter into the belly of the beast in the late round has caused them so many round losses here on Theme Park.
I've got to assume that this is a tactical pause now for the Chiefs. Of course, the new rule, tactical pauses can be called by the players themselves. Of course, these guys do have a coach and, of course, a new additional staff member in Arkuth, formerly of the European Rogue roster. But look, this star-studded Chiefs roster has got to have a think and a bit of a chat about what's going wrong. Yeah, you're on attack on Theme Park and it's not the most favored side on the most favored map, but we expect a lot more from them than this.
I think this is a good time for them to call their tactical timeout as well. I mean, the players, I think it's evident by the way that they've been changing the operators, changing where Ethan's cutoff position is, etc. through this attack, that they have been trying to adapt to this Gladiators defense. But it all hasn't quite worked out for them. So now it's the time for the coach's input to come in and say, hey guys, we're missing something. This is the part of the puzzle that you need to have in order to make the attack work onto this bomb site. Gladiators, they're now going to take us back onto their primary bomb site of Armory and Throne Room, where the Chiefs, I think that this was by far their worst attack.
Yeah, I mean, it did, of course, go down to that 1v1, which unfortunately Worthy was unable to find. But this was also the round where Chiefs found 2 opening picks, and then another pick after losing a player. They refragged that final roamer. So they had like a 4 versus 2, yet no breach onto the site, which means you just got to walk into the bottlenecks, the choke points. And choke is exactly what Chiefs did. It's really those late round decision making, those calls, the authority and the leadership of someone in the team to just make that, and everyone to trust implicitly and commit. That is what Chiefs have been lacking.
Fairly similar attack here from the Chiefs as well, taking their time to once again get into this cache control room and start to sweep the map across. This time it's Hoven on Wamai starting to play up on the shield position instead. He doesn't want to be cut off from bathroom anymore, but he needs to make these Wamai discs valuable in this particular early round where the Chiefs seem to be so strong at it. Rotero Drone now starts to go in through cache, and I don't think it's been noticed by Hoven, so that shield will go down with no cost.
Once again, we see this roam position being slowly dismantled by the Chiefs. But will they have the dedication to push in and find that opening pick? Hoven is dangerous here with the MP5K, but he does fall back. It does give up some ground to Chiefs, but will they actually have the initiative to take it?
Exactly same point of time in the round, 1 minute and 40 seconds, exactly the same as the last round. They tried to make this entry into cache. Now Voidy is getting his boots in the building. The Chiefs, they haven't really upped the pace yet at all, and Hoven, exactly like the last time we watched this bomb site being played, is still holding on to waiting room.
Oh, and for the first time, Gladiators find the opening pick. It took them a while, but Voidy goes down, and Mandy, this is a serious cause for concern for the Chiefs. A far worse round than their previous attempt onto this bomb site. Gladiators will take that kill and run away.
Well, something that the Chiefs had decided to change this time is that they're taking the Hibana immediately onto the wall. So that pushes out the power position. Oh, actually, I think they're going to go straight for it.
Oh my god, it's a rush! They just go deep in for it, but unfortunately it does not work. And Gladiators can easily recompose. Digital once again left alone. A valiant attempt, and we saw a polar opposite technique from the Chiefs. Just go in, but it doesn't work.
The Gladiators, they are just on the ball, guns up on every point of entry possible. Ape knew that his teammate of Smoke was no longer covering that dragon door since its breach had been opened, right? He couldn't play in that power position right next to the wall or next to the door. So he had to start covering, put that gun up, be ready for the Chiefs to walk in at any time. I wouldn't have expected it if I was on the side of the Gladiators, seeming as how the last 4 rounds has gone. But the Chiefs, they try to get the jump and it doesn't quite work. What I did like from the Chiefs in that round though is they did try and put more pressure on that mid round. They tried to dedicate and rotate more players into getting some balls open earlier, trying to get the entry going into the side. I feel like the idea is right, but the execution, it wasn't quite there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the... you could probably put that as a bit of a statement underlined for the Chiefs all game long. There has been some really nice gameplay from them, some nice early rounds. And yet, you look at that scoreline, you're like, hang on a minute, they are down 0-4. Even if you look at the kills, the teams are not that far apart realistically, because we've had some close 1v1s, but these last 2 rounds have been devastating for the Chiefs. Gladiators have come to life. How exciting for them. The prospect of taking down one of the best teams in APAC South, and perhaps the inkling of hope that maybe there's a top 4, maybe even a top 2 position on the cards for Gladiators.
They've absolutely surpassed all of our expectations. On the desk, we were saying the Chiefs have had international form. We want them to repeat it. We want them to be a strong, we want this game to be a strong opener for them. But here we are, the Gladiators, they've really come and surprised us here on this defensive half. Now 4 and up, and the Chiefs, they don't seem to have changed anything from that last round. So the same again, doing this cash-sided clear and taking their time once again, not getting into the building. It just feels like there's not a lot of bloodlust in this game.
Yeah. So what do the Chiefs do? What do they change? Because if they could redeem a 2-4 half here, that's actually not so bad, Mandy, right? Like, I feel like if you see Chiefs go 2-4 into the second half, I could feasibly see a 7-5 victory for them.
Absolutely. I think the Chiefs, they still have the chance at redemption here on this attack. They still have the chance to try and problem solve and bring at least 2 more rounds, I suppose, as a win for them. Here, the bomb site is much closer to their entry point. It is on the top floor and they are clearing from cash, so that's one less step of having to change floors to be able to get to the bomb site. Now, actually, like we said, Bouncin, he's in a lot earlier, a minute 40, but instead of just getting to cash, we actually have control all the way up into initiation.
But will Chiefs check for Joe hiding in the corner of Vault? They've got to. They haven't actually had presence in office as of yet. It's a moment of standstill, a moment of quiet, as Chiefs start to tempt with the idea of getting a breach on this initiation wall. Meanwhile, Ethan has managed to find a kill from outside Cafe. He gets the long angle, and Ape goes down. That's a big pick. On the back of it, Chiefs once again have the opening. But will they be able to follow through? Because Joe is still loitering in this corner.
And again, the Chiefs actually struggling with this wall. We saw last time the mute jammer on the wall. It prevented the tin can openers from being able to get into the bomb site. But this time, all on drones, trying to figure out how they're going to clear this mute jammer and get the initiation wall open. If they want another avenue, they will have to clear Joe inside of Vault.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure 2 drones have just gone past Joe and not seen a thing. This could be devastating if Joe can pull it off. He could pick apart the Chiefs and all but guarantee Gladiators taking a win in this game, or at least an overtime presence. Really all on Gladiators to lock it in now. With just 15 seconds left, the Chiefs will attempt to find an opening, and they do, but Joe comes on for the flank. He finds double, but immediately the Chiefs respond, and now it's all on Rix. He cannot hold out, and the Chiefs finally break through and take a round.
Fantastic work from the Chiefs there. Although they were a bit stagnated through the mid-rounds, that pick from Ethan meant that the Gladiators' attention was much more divided. Someone had to be watching that Cafe entry the entire time, leaving only 3 players left to watch the breach, to watch waiting double, or even the office rotate. Although Joe tried to make his play through the flank, by the time that the Chiefs were inside the bomb site, they were flooding onto the anchors. It was far too late for the Gladiators, and Chiefs finally able to pick up that first round.
Oh, and a sigh of relief for any Chiefs fans out there that perhaps there is a glimmer of light at the end of this tunnel that has seemed to be going on for quite some time now. Gladiators strung together 4 straight rounds despite some early strengths from the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs have finally found the first of their own. Despite the flank as well from Joe, despite Joe finding 2 kills on that flank, Chiefs managed to refrag it. In fact, Bouncin directly traded himself, I believe. And then Chiefs followed on to win out the round at the end of it. One more opportunity now for the Chiefs to redeem themselves. And another opportunity as well for Gladiators to show that it wasn't just a fluke, to lock in a 5-1 half. It would be a big deal. They'd take that confidence to their attacks.
The Gladiators now are also going to repeat the same bomb site of bunks and daycare as well. They're starting off early here in Top Dragon. Not much has changed for them. They feel like they have the formula right, but that round, just a few mishaps here on the gunfight. The Chiefs now starting to spawn in, and this time, we actually have the Nook. I'm not sure if we've seen that before from Ethan.
I've seen it occasionally from the Chiefs. I think it was Didge has also played it a bit in the past, but yeah, I don't know how impactful it's going to be. Yeah, it's great having nades. Maybe they just wanted an extra set because, of course, he's given up the Thinker now to Worthy. But he's been playing the Mav most of this game. I guess at the end of the day, he was like, look, I'm not going to use the Mav torch, and there's a chance I might use the presence reduction, so why not?
I think this is a very different approach here from the Chiefs as well. We've seen them all reconvene here on the cafe side of the building with Bounson playing the cutoff on those break repels. We're also seeing some entries from below, so completely different approach from the Chiefs, but it seems like Gladiators, they've caught on.
Presence in the map now for Boydie. Looks like Chiefs are going for it once again, a very lurk style attack. 2 lurkers this time. Some other Chiefs players which haven't really revealed their position yet, haven't really shown where they're going to be going from. 2 in Drug Lab now. It's very difficult to push up these arcade stairs. You really need to have this be the backstab. You need to have a primary push in tandem for this kind of lurk to work.
Like you said, now pushes coming from both sides from both floors on this map. We're also looking at cafe control here. Ethan starting to make his way into the bomb site, into the building. But here we go, the tussle on arcade stairs, just like you said, smoke's coming out, delaying lots of time. This is the choke point for the Chiefs. This is your go time to try and find those picks and try and pick apart the Gladiators. But Gladiators, they're just too good.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to do that kind of push that Chiefs have opted to do. Gladiators are all too ready for it. Now Worthy has to have a big impact here from Cafe. Still no yellow stairs control for the Chiefs as of yet. Boydie's trying to tangle with that right now. As he moves up, he's got to win this fight, but Ape gets the better of him. Worthy unable to refrag, and now it all falls to pieces. The Chiefs are about to go down 5-1, and a flawless round to lock in the half for the Gladiators. What a stupendous performance they have shown.
The Gladiators, they absolutely know how to play theme park. They know exactly where all the power positions are. They're ready for every single one of the Chiefs' push, whatever ideas, inventions that they can bring to this map. It hasn't worked. In that round, the Gladiators, they were caught on to the fact that the Chiefs were pushing Drug. They even, in fact, had a Bandit playing in there, waiting for that early entry because it was a possibility of a push that they hadn't seen from the Chiefs before yet, but they were ready for it. Once that relay was given away to the rest of the team, all the Gladiators, they moved to important power positions. We saw Ape. He went crazy on that cargo box right in the corner of the bomb site. We saw arcade stairs be a big point of contention. And so Gladiators, they're all in sync. They're all on the same page, and the Chiefs haven't been able to keep up all game long. Now we're going to our defense side, and the Chiefs, they will have to replicate that kind of success.
And to think that for Chiefs to get all 3 points from this game, they will have to win 6 defense rounds in a row on Theme Park. And there are pretty high stakes behind that. Chiefs, yeah, it's a tall order to win 6 rounds in a row. 5 will be the bare minimum to at least push overtime. But slipping to overtime against Gladiators, that's not ideal from the Chiefs. In stage 1, let me have a look. Blah, 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 blah. Renatus. 7-3. Chiefs managed to dispatch with this Gladiators team in stage 1. They got the full 3 points from that, and despite getting all 3 points, Chiefs still only landed 3rd place overall in stage 1 of APAC South. In stage 2, that will not be enough to get them to the major. They cannot rely on getting in 3rd like they did in stage 1. They will have to outperform themselves, and so far, they have failed to do so.
But I think that's also the big story that we have here on APAC South, right? This league is so close. Every single stage, that top 2 spot is so incredibly difficult to get because teams, they aren't that consistent. They will beat teams that we expect them to lose against. There is many upsets in this league. And so being consistent, winning matches like this is just as important for the Gladiators. This is their chance when there's no more playoffs for them to make a major position. And so we've seen really big improvement from them in the off season. They look very cohesive even with a brand new player on their roster.
Gladiators will need to continue that defense form onto their attacks now. Chiefs are holding an extension on this top floor, bouncing on for the roam. He hears that drone. Where is it? He spots one out. Keen to go for a C4. Honestly, what on earth was that C4? I really didn't understand what he was trying to do with that, but told you he's actually going in. No, that's the floor below. I'm getting trolled by the outlines right now. Oh my God, Mandy, please. You're used to looking at these outlines. Please, help me know what's going on.
Well, now they're starting to get this wall open. Grenades do ring through, but there's still wall denial. Finally, that comes off, and the Selma's able to get onto this wall here, start to get an in on the site. A minute left, but like the Chiefs, the Gladiators, they're actually struggling with this top floor clear as well.
All the problems that the Chiefs had on their attacks replicated here for the Gladiators. The difference is Gladiators haven't been finding these opening picks that the Chiefs managed to do on their attacking side. Nor do they have much map control of the top floor, as Chiefs still have two roamers up above with so much flank potential. Ethan could be a menace.
The only way into the bomb site now is to absolutely move it into the belly of the beast. It's time for a flood. 28 seconds left to go, and there's only one breach on the wall.
Oh, and Ethan's on for the flank as well. Boydie has a strong position. Gladiators have no choice but to move in. As Ethan's found a second on for the roam, it is a bloodbath. And Tolji is the lone man to cover. The first plant of the game almost goes down, but is denied. And the Chiefs can easily mop up the pieces to find their second round of the match.
Well, it seems like attacking a theme park, or attacking Armory Throne just seems to be the impossible task here on Theme Park. It is just absolutely not it for either of these teams. Both of them opting actually not to roam clear the top floor, not to go for that vertical presence, and instead just try to get the maintenance wall open. The problem with that is you only create one point of entry for yourself, and that is a choke point that is easily crossfired by someone playing in split, by someone playing the footsie holes inside of the armory room. It's just such a tough entry to be able to make, and although Rix was able to start getting the bomb down, that smoke was absolutely on point. That must have landed on his feet next to the throne to be able to smoke him out, and Digital just playing that late round perfectly for the Chiefs.
Well, it's nice to see that it's not all doom and gloom for the Aussies in blue, but of course the Gladiators will start to feel that pressure, knowing what a significant achievement it was to go up 5-1 on their defense. They will now feel that pressure to follow through and deliver on the promise that was set in that first half.
This is exciting. We're going to Drug Lab for the Chiefs. We haven't seen this bomb site yet, and we don't see it often in any theme park series that we see. The Chiefs actually opting to do quite an extended roam. They're pushing the entire map for control. They've got horizontal lines moving into the armory and throne room side of the map. On top of that, we also have presence on the floor above as well. So the Chiefs opting to hold as much as they possibly can. What will Gladiators bring to this kind of push?
Well, I can tell you one thing they've brought. It is the Amaru. I'm going to keep an eye on what Ape's intention is with that Gyro hook, because if Ape can get some early map control, which, you know, I wouldn't really call it early round more, 30 seconds have passed, he hasn't managed to do so, makes you curious as to what Gladiators have as the intention of that. Is he trying to go up the hatch, perhaps? Cash?
It seems like it. Ape now droning himself into Gong. Meanwhile, his teammates try to get control of that top dragon stairs. Of course, a very common point of contention here for the defense. But instead, we have Bouncer, and he just falls all the way back, gives up that room. They have the entire map anyway. You may as well give up at least 1 or 2 rooms. Allow Gladiators to get their way into the building and waste as much time as possible. Finally, we have some boots in the building, but no defenders to be found.
I like this strategy from the Chiefs. I think they learn a lot from the previous round. Don't give Gladiators an opportunity to find a gunfight. Just keep peeling back. Make them waste their time. Seems to be a very effective strategy here on this huge behemoth of a map of Theme Park. However, Ethan on a long angle is caught out. Nahavan finally gets the better of him. That is a big early pick, and Ethan's flanking potential has been put to rest. Now Bounson feeling that pressure on his roam.
Bouncer saying, okay, my friend has died. It is time to head back out, help my teammates on the bomb site. Gladiators, they will have to still drone out this top floor just to make sure that no one is hiding, trying to get the jump on them, but it seems like they have. Tolji now getting control of top arcade and Hoven to follow. Now they can get some vertical pressure. This part of the floor here is soft. They will need to get control, of course, of the horizontal components of this bomb site as well if they want to make their way into the bomb site. So Tolji actually trying to yellow ping a vertical kill hit here. Bouncing, I think he's aware there must be a drone on him and he's just waiting patiently for this hatch drop.
40 seconds though, time's ticking. Alright, interesting to use an exothermic to get vert, but whatever works, right? Now Bouncing once again droned out. Chiefs are at a man disadvantage, but time is on their side. Gladiators trying to use those incandelas. It is Joe on the forefront of this push, but 20 seconds now. Time continues to tick away, to trickle out. And Gladiators are yet to find a proper opening. There it is from the Chiefs. They spring into action. Quick pump of the shotgun, a sneaky headshot here, and it is all over. The Chiefs dominate the end round and string together yet another round here on Theme Park.
I really liked that strategy from the Chiefs. I think that perfectly played into the weaknesses of the Gladiators. The Gladiators, they have the exact same weaknesses that the Chiefs did. They struggled getting into the building. They dedicated all that time into the early rounds and into the mid rounds, fumbling around, not quite getting the right decision making on the ground in time. The Chiefs, they were able to play all of the map, but give it up one by one, pace out the round, absolutely setting the pace of this defense and not allowing Gladiators to get in. And eventually, I was a big fan of those power positions they were playing on the horizontal as well. Still holding onto control of Armory, still holding onto control of barrels, gives Gladiators so many extra steps they have to complete before they even fight Digital on the bomb side. So fantastic strategy from the Chiefs, and I'd love to see that kind of innovation.
Chiefs definitely look a lot more at home on the defense, that's for sure. But for Gladiators, they're having the opposite problem. They are struggling to find their feet on these attacks, and I'm starting to wonder what can they do. When they try and methodically take ground, the Chiefs just waste their time and fall back. What is going to be the difference maker for this Gladiators roster? Because it would be pretty... I mean, it was gutting to be a Chiefs fan and see them go down 5-1. I think it would be even more devastating to be a Gladiators fan and see them lose from a 5-1.
Absolutely. The Gladiators, they still do have the tactical timeout under their belt. So maybe they lose this round because they haven't quite got the problem solved, they haven't quite got the formula cracked. They still have something to fall back on. They still have that extra 45 seconds to a minute to figure out what they're going to do next. Hoven now starting to get his way into bathroom. That being said, no, it seems like he's just going to play the cutoff instead, while the rest of the Gladiators start making their push from the cache and control side of the building. Quite a similar push to the Chiefs. I really feel like if you're the Gladiators here, you almost need to sort of look at your opponents, look at Chiefs and go, okay, we have the exact same problem as them. What could have they fixed that would have made it bad for us? You know, like what was some bad entry points that we weren't watching that they might not be expecting? What kind of lurks can we do to try and catch these Chiefs players off guard?
Bit of role play, bit of theory crafting, bit of, you know, counter yourself to counter the other team. I like it. Bouncing on this long angle with the 1.5, almost sees ahead. Almost fine. Oh my God! That is so nasty, so disgusting. And I want to know what kind of a wrist injury Bouncing could have after that. My God. All right, there's the opening pick for you.
A very flashy opening pick here for the Chiefs, but time and time again we see these Chiefs players, they're so good at these opening picks, but on this defense half, all they need to do is pull back. Now it's a Gladiators problem. They've got to get into the building, a man down, and 1 minute and 20 seconds into the building, on the board, and they're only just getting their way into cache. This is terrible timing from Gladiators.
The two 1.5 time scopes, Bouncing and Boydie. Once again, dueling on these long angles. Bouncing filled with confidence after that opening pick. A disc now to protect his teammate. Oh, it's so difficult now for Gladiators. What are they going to do?
Well, there is not much that they can do. They don't have any hard breach at all. Bar this Maverick, that's going to take so much time to trick this wall. Bouncing even is going to be contesting these angles because the Gladiators, they just have absolutely no options. It has to be a flood through the waiting double, but Tolji is able to claw one back for the Gladiators.
Bouncing does have a very strong advanced position. He's worried about Gladiators watching for it, because Gladiators are certainly... Okay, there you go. They are indeed. And they managed to erupt. It's now Bounce, he opened up with 2 pick kills, and now he's going to have to make it a 4K, but it just ain't going to happen. Bit surprising to see the Gladiators redeem themselves from that, but now they have match point.
Well, a big difference there that we saw between the Gladiators and the Chiefs. I've been saying all game long, they're so mirror image of each other. They're so reflective of each other's playstyles and problems. But something that the Gladiators have that the Chiefs don't is patience. Even on that attacking half, they went, oh, okay, we're kind of down numbers. Tolji goes, oh, someone kind of got ants in their pants and they peeked me, and now I have a pick, and now we have an in onto the bomb site, right? The Chiefs, if they had more patience there, tried to play the crossfire, there were only 2 entry points that they could have made, the Gladiators. They could only come through the waiting double or only come through that office rotate, but instead we see all these Chiefs players peeking everything, trying to take duels, and eventually losing out to Gladiators, who are just so sharp here on Theme Park. Gladiators, they just have an in, they have the patience, and that's a trait that the Chiefs are really missing in this series.
The Gladiators have the patience, but they also aren't afraid to just go. Click that big red button that says go. Actually, I guess it would be a green button that says go, right? Because red is for stop. Gladiators have a big green button, and they press it, and every one of them linked into this neural network that Gladiators managed to have. They just go, and they push in, and they push at the same time. Frag out, find all those Chiefs players. And those refrags led them to a round win now, and it's led them to having a 3-round advantage. Chiefs still on that favored side, and they can, of course, go back to Throne Armory, which was very strong defense for them. But now
Gladiators,
the pressure is even more on.
I was going to say the Gladiators with 6 points, they're going to be happy. That's points on the board. That's points on the standings for them. That's huge, absolutely huge in this group stage. Is exactly what the desk has phrased for us here going into stage 2. Gladiators now, they'll start to do the same push here through the cash side, while the Chiefs, they go, okay, we're not going to do it again. We're not going to repeat this top floor side. We have Throne and Armory open to us, so let's change to something that we're more comfortable with. But the Gladiators, actually, while I say that, they do have a slightly different approach. Ape is making a pinch through this top floor, through Cafe, trying to find any unknown roamers.
Yeah, and the line is going to enable it as well. The line locking those defenders in place. Line, I think, is very, very strong on Theme Park. It's such a big map. The defenders want to be mobile. Like Bouncin is just there. He takes out the top fragger of the Gladiators, sits him down. Joe's going to have to sit out the rest of the round, but Ape is on for a refrag and takes down Ethan. I'd say this is still a pretty good position now for the Gladiators, and Bouncin, his position revealed, caught between 2 angles. He has to land the shot, but of course he lands it. It's Bouncin after all. Can he get back to side? That would be huge.
Wow, and he absolutely does, aided by Digital. He comes along and goes, oh, I've got you, stick out your hand for me. And he brings him back to the safety of the bomb site. And now Gladiators, they are down 2 of their members. They still do have Heartbreach on the board, however, in the form of Rix. And so it's time for Rix to start getting into the building. There we go, just on the top of the yellow stairs. We'll be able to get this hatch open and maybe start to work on one of the walls. So the Gladiators, although they are down, they still have some options here.
Having that Heartbreach is really what opens up this round for Gladiators. If they're able to get an exothermic onto this yellow wall, which they are, and will it detonate? That's the question. No denial from the Chiefs. And now the Chiefs have this gaping hole in the middle of their bomb site. Some strong positions from which to defend it, however.
Oh, and that is such a difficult power position to clear where Bouncin is sitting. That cannot be vertical. That has to be cleared with grenades and utility. And here we go, Gladiators, they have to make an in.
Bouncin, he's going to have to be the man of the hour, but he goes down. Digital and Worthy to hold on as the Gladiators inch closer to a victory here on Theme Park. Rix and Tolji to lock it in. As Digital and Worthy try to deny this plant, the smokes make it oh so difficult, but they pace themselves. And Digital is on for a long flank. Rix stuck in the site, but Tolji has a position to cover. Worthy and Digital regroup, but Tolji has the perfect position. He doesn't land the kill! Oh no! Worthy may be able to punish him for his insolence. It's now a one-on-one. Digital versus Tolji. And he's gonna stick it. He's gonna have to bait it out. Tolji moves up. Digital moves back, and the Gladiators, in an unprecedented way, take down one of the most favorite teams in the league. Welcome to APAC South.
Absolutely, that is a welcome to APAC South from the Gladiators. They come in absolutely soaring and flying here into Stage 2, taking away Theme Park from the Chiefs. It got a little dicey at the end there. We were a little bit worried for them, but eventually able to claw at the back. And that was a clutch win in the end as well. A 3 versus 4, finding the picks that they had to, and that was their invitation straight into the bomb site. The Gladiators, like you said, they really are just a neural network of players.